Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight, as promised, we have our current best game in the Georgia ever. So, don't forget to punch that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, it's completely free, and you might want to get you a snack for this one. It's going to be juicy. But we are going to be pushing off to the right side, and we spawn in with a cruiser next to us that just happens to be an anchorage. And that is about all of the aforementioned players that I need to talk about during this match, because I have no idea what happens to the rest of my team. None. But we don't worry about that in World of Warships Legends. Why? Because we can only control the things that we control. Can't make other people do anything. I have to just do the best that I can each and every battle to try to bring about victory. And if we happen to get a really spicy replay in the process, then that's just all the better. So, with that being said, let's get this party started. Now, we are already running engine booster. Let's go. Full power Georgia, New Jersey build. Let's go punch some folks in the face. That is our goal. Now, one of the things you're going to notice pretty early on is that the enemy just completely gives up this flank. I don't know why. This is a terrible idea. And under most circumstances would lead to your loss, because you literally are giving up the ability to be surrounded, which is a tactical disadvantage for those of you who don't understand what it means to be surrounded. Whether it's on land, in the sky, or on the sea. If you are surrounded, you are not having a good time. Period. Pretty straightforward. That's why I always tell people to play your side. So many times people just immediately run away from their spawn, and it just boggles the mind. Because especially if you spawn on the flanks, you're giving up the flank, which is never good. Because it will almost always bite you in the backside. And boy howdy will it bite this team in the backside, because I'm about to run rampant on their candy butts. Thank you to the rock. But Georgia is a nasty boat when it works. And what have I said many a time since the invention of the epic and legendary mods for these ships? Georgia has completely changed since the epic mod was introduced. Yes, you can throw the legendary mod on there and get some extra damage with kills. That's not that important to me. I don't really care about that. The ability to be more consistent, the better you do in a match, is what turns this thing into, and we've already lost the destroyer. Yep, you can see how this is about to go. Anyway, we are going to push off. Now, I am all for this anchorage going in and grabbing this cap, which is why I went ahead and pushed. Normally, I would be the one going into the cap here and providing those crossfires across the map. But because the anchorage decided to go in the map or into the cap, I don't have to do that. And there's a lot of good things that spawn offers a heavy cruiser like the anchorage. You got an island that, if you have spotting, can absolutely ruin the enemy team with crossfires. You have smoke that you can just sit and absolutely ruin people with crossfires. You have those longer range torpedoes that are not custom to most American heavy cruisers and can catch a lot of people off guard. What I'm saying is the anchorage is in probably the best position he could possibly be in at the moment. That is very important. Okay, speaking of anchorage, I have no shot on this anchorage, and I'll be honest with you, I completely forget that this anchorage even exists. And that's when we spot the Odin, and he also spots us. And in my mind, this man's AFK. I'm thinking, oh, okay, we'll just burn this guy down over time. Slapping him with some AP, get a little Arthas action up in there. That was a terrible shot, by the way. Only 3 shells out of 6 hit, and then he fires his guns, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's awake. Alright, we're gonna have to treat him a little bit more, like a threat here. Now, we do have a battleship that is charging up behind me. That battleship turns out to be a Bismarck, and I don't know what happens to this Bismarck. I'll be real honest with you. I don't know. But we absolutely smashed the Odin again with only 3 hits, but that's 3 out of 6. We'll take it. You know, when you're only landing like 50% of your shells, like, you can't really argue with that. in a battleship, you know? But we do initially get caught on fire by the Anchorage, who's using the island effectively. But this Odin is being extremely disrespectful, probably going, well, he's only a Georgia, he's only got 6 guns. Yeah, well, those 6 guns are starting to become more and more accurate. The more damage I do to you, Sunshine. So we started out being 10% or 11%. I think it was 10%, because I think they dropped it when the Epic mods came out initially. But the very first proc that you get makes you more accurate than you were prior to the change. And then he starts shooting HE at me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I don't really have to be too afraid of him. Now, one thing I am trying to dodge is his shots because of AA. I know that we're in a carrier game, and I'm going to need as much AA as possible. So we're trying to get rid of this Odin as soon as we can. The Bismarck is also doing Bismarck things, which is mostly miss. And we are going to try to finish this guy off, but he's already burning. The Anchorage has the man burning, so there's no reason for me to go for him. Instead, I'm going to turn my attention towards the Colorado. Why? Because Colorado, very healthy. Odin is dead. There's no reason for me to continue to shoot him, right? Now, with that being said, we only land 2 shells on the Colorado, but we need to get rid of these heavy-hitting battleships. We knew the Odin was toast, so it just made sense to go for the next target. There's no reason for me to kill a guy that's already dead. Making him more dead than he already is just silly. Sometimes you just gotta prioritize targets, and in some situations you want to finish that person off. Like if that was anything other than an Odin, there's a good chance I would have shot him just to get rid of him, just in case. The off chance that he decides to get loaded and slap the ever-living crap out of him. But he only has 305mm guns, and while they are very good, it's not the scariest thing to end up leaving alive for a few moments. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. The Helena on the other side is doing his darndest to hold that flank. So, I gotta give credit where credit is due. However, after he dev strikes the destroyer, there's not much hope for him at that point. He is 1v1ing a cruiser who has an island, it appears, and so I'm not sure how that battle's going to turn out, but I don't know if it's going to go in the Helena's favor. We don't know. If he dev struck a destroyer, there's a good chance he was really, really close to the destroyer. And once again, this Colorado is low health. He's burning. We know he's about to die, but I go ahead and shoot him anyway. Why do I do that? Because he got big guns, right? So we just want him gone. And of course, this is the moment that the Georgia does Georgia things and misses. But he does burn down, thankfully. And that's when the Pobeda gets spotted, and I ain't gonna lie. Pobeda is numero uno priority with these changes to the CVs. Remember, this was a match that I had last night before the new changes went into effect, right? So, yeah, look at that accuracy. Hello, Georgia. Bonk. Oh, come on. Really? Bonk him harder. Oh, thank you. That was a Citadel for 25,000 damage. Yeah, that stung. That'll get him moving. And suddenly he's like, I probably shouldn't be here anymore. Yeah, you're right, and don't worry, you won't be. As we get the front guns unloaded, the Bismarck is doing his things, and there we go. He's gone. Alright, now this game could go either way. And it's about this point you see me get into chat. I am begging this Anchorage to get the f out of there. There is no reason for this Anchorage to be sitting in a smoke screen broadside to 2 battleships waiting to die. Right? There is a battleship that is charging you with torpedoes. You are going to get neutered. Get out of there. And he's already lost over half his hit points. Remember, Anchorage is stupid easy to Citadel if it's caught broadside by anything. Cruisers, battleships, destroyers. Doesn't matter. You catch an Anchorage broadside and you have AP loaded, you will Citadel it. As long as you're aiming waterline middle of the ship, you will absolutely Citadel it. It is stupidly easy to Citadel at Anchorage. That being said, Anchorage did not heed the advice soon enough, and instead waits around and gets absolutely crushed by the Brandenburg. And it was at this moment I knew that I'm going to be having a fight, because now it is me, a Bismarck, and a carrier versus 5 ships, including a destroyer, and 2 cruisers, and 2 battleships. Now we know the Brandenburg is relatively low, so the biggest threat here is North Carolina. And that's when the Anchorage decides to show up and give me a full broadside. I'm like, holy mother of God, where did you come from? I completely forgot about this guy. Remember when I said that at the beginning of the match? Also remember when I said that if you catch an Anchorage broadside and you have armor piercing loaded, it is stupidly easy to Citadel. Case in point. He's lucky to be alive. We only hit him with 3 shells. One of them was a citadel, the rest overpinned. Didn't quite lead him enough. He got turned away. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The Brandenburg secondaries here kind of caught me off guard. But I have no choice but to stay relatively well angled to the anchorage here because of why? Those longer range torpedoes we talked about that most people forget about with an anchorage. And you just can't, oh my God, we left him alive again. Come on, Bismarck, kill him. Kill him with fire, Bismarck. I did all the work. All you gotta do is, Mother of God, how do you die? He's not had to fight anything. What has he done? How did he lose all of his hit points? I'm baffled at how that Bismarck lost all of his hit points. He fought an Odin that was reversing, not shooting at him. A Colorado that was probably shooting at me and him. And we slapped the North Carolina for daring to show a broadside to me. Because reasons. And that's when I realized that there's a Siegfried in the match. And this Siegfried is absolutely a problem. Because Siegfrieds have some of the best guns of any battleship at the tier. And I know what you're thinking. But Spartan, and that was a terrible shot by me. Remember what I say all the time about people baiting you into shooting the belt? I shot the belt of the North Carolina, full well knowing that the North Carolina's only armor that it has on the entire ship is the belt armor. But back to what I was saying. I know what you're gonna say, but Spartan, the Siegfried isn't a battleship. No, but it's got better 15-inch battleship guns than any of the battleships at Motherfucker. We left them alive. Oh boy, we're in trouble. Now, this is the last thing you want to see. A very healthy Siegfried bearing down on your location. You know darn well that he's going to come in and he's going to try to torpedo you, and you know darn well that you're probably not going to kill him before he kills you. But we got to try and pray to the Lord that these shells are going to be accurate and deadly. They were accurate, they were not deadly. I know that I can citadel him through the bow if given a good shot. And unfortunately, we hit off to the side just enough that we didn't manage to citadel him, which is unfortunate. However, in order for him to get his torpedoes away, he's gonna have to give up more angle than he wants. And as soon as he opens the angle, we go straight through the turret cheek, in and citadel him. But unfortunately, we leave him with just enough to get his torpedoes away, taking up to 230,000 damage as we hurry up to throw the front guns out, and we mistimed it, managing to hit the... we almost slipped it. We almost slipped between the torpedoes and only ate 2 of them, but that third torpedo did touch right towards the back of the ship. But 233,000 damage, and it wasn't even close. The sadness of high-tier gameplay in World of Warships Legends, folks. No matter how hard you try, you can never count on your teammates to participate. Top of the leaderboard, 1,872 base XP, our best damage game of all time. Again, shout out to the Anchorage and the Helena. Bismarck, I have no idea what he did to lose all of his hit points, but he f***ed it up somehow. And yeah, we tried. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.